Hello, welcome to Dry Creek Beekeeping. So today I'm going to be checking on this hive, the alpha hive. And I expect this to be a completely normal checkup on them, as I don't think they're ready for a new honey super, as this one was just added 2 weeks ago, so it's probably not full. However, I can't wait to see what they've done in the past 2 weeks. So I'm only going to be looking at the honey super, none of the lower supers, because at this point it's not really worth it to take the honey super off of the hive unless either it's completely empty or I notice something wrong. Alright, now time to open the lid. Ooh, there we go. Oh geez, that's a lot of bees. Well, first impressions are very good. Now let's see what's inside. Alright, so immediately I noticed that they have completely fixed all of this comb, and I think I see some frames that are already fully capped, which is amazing. So let's check out one of those frames. If you remember, 2 weeks ago, these frames looked pretty brutal. But now, oh shoot, that's not good. So, what I see here is that they are laying eggs on the honeycomb, or what should be honeycomb. This isn't good because that means I can't actually use this frame for harvesting when it comes time to harvest. So, I didn't want to do this, but now I'm going to actually have to go get a queen excluder and put that between these frames so that the queen doesn't lay any eggs on it. Now, because I saw that, I am actually going to take a look at all of these frames here. Hopefully that's the only one that's like that. And it's not, of course it isn't. Also, there is a abnormal amount of drones here. Like, that is not a natural amount of drones. That is excessive. Now this side of the frame looks good, although there is a few pollen stores, which pollen ruins the taste of honey basically, and it makes it a lot less clean. Otherwise, the frames that don't have brood on them look great. I mean, really, really great. They fix these frames up nicely. I am noticing a bit more aggressive tendencies right now, which is fine because it's getting to that time of year where they're getting to be very protective of their honey stores, and also it's not the best day for beekeeping. Alright, see this stuff here? I'm going to try to remove that as carefully as I can, just because this is burr comb and we don't really want burr comb. Alright, now this looks beautiful. Look at all that uncapped honey in there. Like, this is a heavy frame, actually, for what it's worth. And it also just looks beautiful. And you can see they're starting to actually cap some of it as well. Now, the reason there's so many drones could be for 2 reasons. One, there's a laying worker, which doesn't seem that likely. Or 2, they're attracted by all of the open honey stores, which is more likely. Also, this frame, too, again, it looks amazing. It's just those 2 frames that have brood on them. That's it. And it looks to be more of the same throughout this. So, given the state of this hive currently, I would say 1 or 2 weeks before I have to put another honey super on, just because of how much uncapped honey there is and how heavy these frames are from that. But I am going to have to fix this little problem with all the drones, because if I put a queen excluder with drones still inside of here, that's not very good, because the drones can't actually get out. Is this drone brood here? No, that's not drone brood, that's just normal brood. See, this is confusing, because the drones are only on the frames with the brood. Why? I don't know what to do here, honestly. I guess I'm gonna have to put the queen excluder on and then try to remove as many drones as possible by hand, because I don't want to empty the super completely. Either that, or I could just live with it, but I don't really want to have 2 frames that are like semi full of honey and then mostly full of brood. That's not ideal, because then when I go to harvest the honey, I'm going to have to just leave those frames and then they'll die because I can't put the honey super back on the hive once I harvest it. I'm going to take a look at one more frame here. This is one of the more outside frames. Ah, there it is. There's the drone brood. See it down there? Yep, there it is. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to put the lid back on this and then run up to the house, grab the queen excluder, put that back on here, and then do a little bit more work removing the drones. And I'm back. What took me 10 minutes only took you guys a couple of seconds. Alright, so going back into the hive, I'm kind of realizing here that, well, I actually realized this on my walk back up to my house, that this hive actually does need a second honey super already. Now, that may be surprising, and I know I said earlier in this video that it doesn't need it yet. I said 1 or 2 weeks, but my rule of thumb is 7 out of 10 frames need to be filled, or there's an overcrowding situation, which you can clearly see there is an overcrowding situation. And also, all of these frames have uncapped honey in it, and quite a bit of it as well, meaning that 10 out of 10 frames are technically filled right now. So that means I have to put the second honey super on. And now about the queen excluder, I don't know what to do about that because it's only 2 frames. And also, queen excluders can sometimes cause problems where bees don't actually want to go through it, so they'll just abandon this entire area. And there's already drones in here, and that's just going to cause problems because they can't get the dead drones out. So you know what, I'm actually not going to put the queen excluder on, even though I did bring it down, as you can see. I'm just going to leave it down here just in case for the future I need to put it on. So now I'm going to do something that I literally have never done before with any of my hives. Put a second honey super on it. Truly, truly incredible. And now, look at that. There is a second honey super on my hive. Now this hive is about 3 or 4 feet tall. It's up a little bit past my waist. And you can see none of these frames actually have anything on them. They have a little bit of wax, and I actually had this on my first ever hive, but didn't actually do anything with it other than put a little propolis on it and make a little bit of honey. Now, as you can see, because these are empty, I expect this should take about 3 or 4 weeks for them to build a significant amount of comb on it, and that is only if they are healthy, like super healthy, which I mean they are excessively, to a point where it's actually sort of worrying me. So in 2 weeks I expect to see maybe a little bit of comb on these, but nothing actually important. Like, I don't expect to see that much honey in it, though you never know. The only real concerns that I have about this hive is that they're doing so well that I'm afraid that no matter what I do, they're going to get to a point where they just have to swarm because of how many bees are in here and how well they're doing. Well, with that, I'm going to put the lids back on this hive, and then I'm going to check on it again in 2 weeks to see what they're doing. Well, that's the end of this video. So to recap what I saw with this hive, it's doing abnormally well. Like, it's insane how well it's doing, and I know I've said this every time I made a video on this hive. Some concerns that I did see with this hive are the amount of drones in it and the fact that 2 of the frames have brood on them. Fortunately, these are small problems in relationship to how much is happening with this hive, and even smaller problems when you compare it to this hive, which is actually doing very bad. Well, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments about beekeeping, be sure to put them in the comments. See ya!